Now let us move ahead and talk about the important articles. And for these important articles, we will cover these articles in some phases. So this is the phase one of the important articles. So we will not be doing all the articles at one go, but we will divide it and then do it. And we will do only the important articles which we required to remember by numbers, okay? Because for some articles we are only required to understand the logic behind that article, the concept behind that article, and not exactly the number of the article. So here we will be dealing with only those articles where we require to remember the number as well. Starting with article number 3. Okay, article number 3, our picture is of auto. And it talks about the formation of new states, boundaries, names, changing the names of the existing states. So auto, now somehow we have to relate with this information, the formation of new states. So we see a picture where we are going on an auto from one state to another state, and if we can do this, okay, if we can travel so much of distance on auto, then we get the authority to make new states or change the boundaries of the states, or we can change the names of the existing states. So article 3, that is auto, we are relating it with the state formation, okay, the new state formation, and the procedure for the formation of new states we have to talk when we talk about the conceptual part of the mnemonics, conceptual part of the Indian polity. Coming to the second article, that is article 13. It talks about the laws inconsistent or in derogation with the fundamental rights shall be void. So 13, our picture is danger, okay, unlucky 13 is danger. So laws which takes away fundamental rights are dangerous, right? 13 is dangerous, and the laws which will take away from us the fundamental rights which we are supposed to get are dangerous, okay, are dangerous for us. So 13 we are relating with laws which are taking fundamental rights from us. Article 14, okay, article 14 or 14, our picture is T and R, that is tire, your car tire or maybe bike tire. So article 14, it deals about the equality before law. So now how to relate it? Tire with equality before law. Tire we have a picture, and equality before law also somehow we can have a picture. So all tires are equal before law if they lead to accident, okay, if they lead to accident by maybe slipping, okay. So whether JK tires or MRF tires or any other local company, if they lead to accident, they will be treated equally by the law, okay, and they will be liable for the same punishment, their companies. So tire, we are relating equality before law. Article 15, our picture is pay in check, okay. 15th is the day of the month where we get our salary, okay, we suppose that. So 15th is pay in check or check. It talks about the prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. So you're working in a company, but your company actually who is supposed to give your salary check on 15, but it discriminates, okay? For some people it gives checks early, and for some people it withholds, okay, or it delays. So that is how it discriminates in giving checks. So checks, we are relating it with the company, your company which you are working for, and it delays, okay, or it discriminates between people. So check discrimination on grounds of maybe religion, race, caste, sex, okay, or place of birth. Article 16, 16, our picture is of sweet candy, okay, sweet 16 becomes sweet candy, so 16 is candy for us. It talks about equality of opportunity in matters of public employment. Now, candy, we have to somehow relate with the employment. Now you went for an interview, okay, for an employment, you went for an interview, and there the interview panel were giving candies to all the candidates who were appearing for the interview. So that is how they were treating equally to all the people by giving them candies. So Article 16, that is sweet candy, we are relating it with the interview, okay, or the equality of opportunity in employment. Article 17, and 17 our picture is of magazine. It talks about abolition of untouchability. So magazine, we already have a picture, okay, in our mind, and we have to relate with touchability, okay. So there are few magazines in the world actually, so their publishers, they say like only few people can touch these magazines because they are so expensive. So it becomes untouchable for other people who cannot afford that magazine. So magazine, we are relating it with touching or untouchability, okay. Abolition of untouchability. Article 18, 18 our picture is of a polling booth. Polling booth where we go and give our vote. So it talks about the abolition of titles. So inside polling booth you cannot take your titles, okay. So you went for voting and you had one title with you, okay, your whole plate, like where you have mentioned Mr. Any person. So these titles, they are not allowed inside polling booth. So abolition of titles. Article 19, 19 our picture 1, and if we make 9 like this, it looks like a golf stick. So it talks about right to freedom, and once you get golf stick, you get the freedom to hit anyone. Okay, so golf stick, we are relating it with the freedom to hit anyone. Now if you remember, when we talked about the modern history, same 19 we use for the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, for the Rowlatt Act, okay. So that is how now your mind will automatically bifurcate between the different informations. The only condition is you have to leave sufficient time gap between like usage of the same number. So that is how you have to leave it 3 or 4 days while studying the different sessions which deals with the number mnemonics. Okay, so Article 19, right to freedom. Okay, so freedom to hit anyone once you get golf stick. First is 19A is speech. Okay, freedom of speech and expression. Where you will give a speech, okay, it has to be in an assembly, okay, where people gather. So when people gather, there only you can give the speech. So speech in an assembly. When people will gather, okay, when they're part of an association. So association, freedom to form associations or unions. So once you form associations, you have to move throughout the country, okay? So preach, to do the work of the association, to preach the ideas of the association. So association, you have to move throughout the country. So if you're moving throughout the country once in lifetime, you feel like you should reside and settle in at least one part, okay? And then you can live a settled life. And if you settle in any part, then you can start your own profession. So first is speech, assembly, association, moving throughout the country, then residing in one part, and after residing in one part, it is profession, right to profession. So these are the sub parts of Article 19. Article 20, in Article 20, 20 our picture is of a cigarette pack, okay, a pack containing 20 cigarettes. Protection in respect of conviction for offences. Now, cigarette smoking, we know it's banned in public places, but cigarette smokers still they get protection for their offences. A smoker he is smoking in the public place, still he is not getting arrested or he is not fined, so he is getting protection for their offences. So cigarette we are relating with the conviction for offences. Article 21, 2.1, it is NT, that is net. Protection of life and personal liberty. If you go to any circus, they do such amazing activities, but they tie a net, okay, on the ground. So even if they are doing any activity on the air, and if they fall somehow accidentally from long height, they will be caught by the net, okay. They will not fall on the ground and they will not be injured. So net is for the protection of life. 21, Article 21, that is NT, net is for the protection of life. Article 21A, right to education. A is for apple. as in B for ball, C for cat, T for dog, A is for apple. So to increase students enrollment, government has started distributing apples in schools. Okay, in their midday meal schemes, government is now distributing apples to their students. So 21A article, it deals with the right to education, right to elementary education. And if you remember last time, we talked about the Constitution Amendment Act which led to this particular article, and it was frogs. Okay, frogs were going on the school bus. So F is 8 and G is 6. So 86th Amendment Act bought this particular article. Article 22. 22 is NN, that is Nana Patekar. It talks about protection against arrest and detection. Nana Patekar, as we see in movies also, is a very aggressive person and fights a lot. So every time when he fights, he needs protection against police arrest. Okay, so Nana Patekar, that is 22, we are relating with protection against arrest and detection. When Nana Patekar, he is fighting, but so every time, like when police comes to arrest him, he needs some protection. Article 23, that is NM or nameplate. It talks about prohibition of forced labor and trafficking of human beings or beggars. So on the streets, like beggars are having their own nameplates. Okay, they have written their name, which city they have come from. So this nameplate, now you are seeing beggars on the street with their nameplates. So Article 23, we are talking about the forced labor, abolition of forced labor and human trafficking, which also includes beggar. Article 24. 24 is N and R, and our picture for that is Nor. Okay, Nor soup. It talks about prohibition of employment of children in factories. So Nor soup, now somehow we have to relate with the employment of children in factories. Now what you are doing, you are running a good society or an NGO for the children. So you are going to the factories, you are seeing the condition of the children who are working there. You are giving them the Nor soup to eat. Okay, and they are feeling very happy about that, the children. So Nor soup, we are relating it the children who are working in factories. Article 25, that is nail. Our picture is NL, nail, nails. It talks about right to freedom of religion, right to follow one's own conscience, free profession of the religion, practice and propagation of religion. So now nail, somehow we have to relate it with the freedom of religion. Now how we will do it? We can see again a odd picture in our mind. We see like in some religion, okay, in one religion, you have to grow your nails and you have to grow your nails as much as you can. So that is the funda of that religion. So you can see a person where he is growing his nails and that is a part of it. So nails, we are relating it with the freedom of religion. Going to the next article, that is Article 26, and 26 is Nag, N and G. Nag is a Hindi word for snakes. It talks about freedom to manage religious institutions. So one day, all snakes of the city, they assembled at a single place and they were demanding for their own religious institution. Okay, the snakes demanding for their own religious institutions. So Article 26, we are relating it with religious institutions. Article 27, 27, our picture is of a Nike. Okay, N and K, so it becomes Nike shoes. It talks about the freedom from taxation for the promotion of religion. So that is, the state cannot ask for the tax for the promotion of a particular religion. So what happened, one day you went to the temple and you took off your Nike shoes outside the temple, and the temple authorities took away your Nike shoes and saying, this is a tax, okay, you have to pay if you have to enter the temple. So you have to give your Nike shoes. So Nike shoes, that is Article 27, we have to relate it with the taxation of freedom from taxation of promotion of any religion. Article 28, that is N or V or F. 8 is V or F. So we take V. So our picture is Navy. So if you remember modern history with Navy, what all things we remembered? First was the Simon Commission arrival. Okay, Sai Baba coming on a Navy ship. Then Nehru report. right? So now that is how our mind is automatically bifurcating the information. Okay, so now Navy we are linking it with the religious instructions. Okay, freedom from attending religious instructions. So in Navy they don't give any religious instructions. They say all religions are same and you don't require any religious instructions. Okay, you have to follow all religions. So Navy we are relating it with religious instructions. 28. 29. NP is nap or dreams. It talks about the protection for the interests of minorities. So you should not dream about harming minority people. Okay, you should not even dream about harming minority people, but you should actually always think about how to help them, how to help the lower class people. So NAP, if you remember, Nehru was seeing the dreams. One Hor came, Lahore, and Purna Swaraj, right? Asking for Purna Swaraj. And also Jinnah's 14 point. Jinnah was shouting in his dream about his 14 points. So these are the things which we related with 29 in the modern history part. So now we are relating 29 NAP with the interests of minorities. Article 30 is that is minorities to establish an administration, administer their own educational institutes. 30 is mess for us, food mess, okay? MS, food mess. Minority people have their own mess and they don't like eating with majority people. Okay, so they make their own separate food messes because they don't like to mingle up with the majority people, don't like to sit and eat with them. So minority people having their own mess. Or we are relating it with to administer and establish their own educational institutes, minorities. Article 32. 32 is Moon. Protection of fundamental rights by Supreme Court. To save your fundamental rights, okay, if you want to save your fundamental rights and if you go to Supreme Court, you have to go with a moon, okay, with moon. So you should be having moon with you. So see a picture where you're carrying moon in your hands and then you are going to Supreme Court and asking them to save the fundamental rights. So moon 32, we are relating it with the protection of fundamental rights by Supreme Court. Article 226, that is NNG. Now here we have 3-digit number. Okay, now we can have a single image for these 3 digits or we can bifurcate this. First 2 digits we already have Nana Patekar and 6 we know it's transgender. So we can make 2 images out of that. So that becomes easy for us in spite of making single image. So Nana transgender. So Nana Patekar want to become a transgender, so he moved to High Court to protect his rights. So Article 226, that is NNG, Nana Patekar transgender. We are relating with the protection of rights by High Court. Let's have a recap. We started with Article 3. Article 3, auto. We talked about the formation of new states. Then we jumped to Article 13, dangerous. Okay, laws which will take fundamental rights from you are dangerous. 14, tire, equality before law. Okay, all tires are equal before law. 15, pain check. Okay, your company were discriminating while distributing checks, pay checks. 16, that is candy, employment. Okay, interview. They were giving all the candidates with the candies, equality of opportunities of employment. 17, untouchability, magazine untouchable. 18, polling booth, abolition of titles. You were not allowed to go inside the polling booth with your titles. 19, golf stick, freedom to hit anyone, right to freedom. Speech, assembly, association, right to move freely in all parts of India, reside and settle in single part and profession. Then 20 is cigarette, protection in for conventions, protection for the convicts for certain offences. Article 21, that is net, protection of life. 21A, elementary education, A is for Apple's distribution by government. 22, that is Nana Patekar, protection in case of arrest and detection. 23, nameplate, beggar, forced labor. NR 24, no soup. Okay, child labor in factories. NL, nail, freedom of religion. NG, nag, religious institution managing, NK Nike 27 taxation for religion, NV Navy religious instruction, freedom from religious instructions, 29 that is nap. Okay, in your dreams also you cannot think of harming the interests of minority. Article 30 that is MS, separate education institutes for the minorities. Article 31 got repealed, right to property. Then it was 32 MN Moon moving to Supreme Court for the protection of fundamental rights. Similarly 226 then Nana Patekar transgender, right, moving to the High Court. Let's move further now and what the writs, different types of writs issued by the court for the protection of fundamental rights. So these writs, once we have already linked it with the questioning of, it becomes wrist. So questioning of the Britannia biscuits or Britannia cakes. So it origin is from Britain. First is habeas corpus. So habeas corpus, habeas become bees and it becomes peas. It means to have a body of. Here the court is demanding to produce in front of it the body of the detained person. So now to have body of peas, okay, now court is saying they want a body of the person whose bodies should be made up of peas, okay. So court is asking to produce a body which is made up of peas. Now it is highly impossible. Second writ, it is mandamus. For mandamus we get madam, okay, and authoritative madam, okay. We command, so it means we command, or madam is giving command and asking you to perform the duties. So court is asking or commanding the government officials to perform the duties. Prohibition is simple, prohibiting to exceed jurisdiction from higher court to the lower court. Certiorari, from certiorari we get century. One batsman cannot transfer its centuries to another batsman. Okay, if Sachin Tendulkar has scored 100 centuries, he cannot transfer his number of centuries to Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli has to make his own century. So, what it means is the transfer of the pending case from the lower court to the higher courts. So, certiorari or century, we relate it with the transfer of centuries or the transfer of pending cases. Quo warranto, warrant against a person who illegally occupied the public office. Going to the article 33, and 33 is M and M, that is mama, or mama is the brother of your mother. It talks about the restriction of fundamental rights for people of armed forces, police forces, intelligence agencies, etc. So your mama is in army and one day he was complaining that he can't enjoy all fundamental rights. So restriction of fundamental rights, we're linking it with mama. Okay, mama is 33, or the mama is the brother of your mother. So mama we are rating with restriction of fundamental rights. Article 34, that is fundamental for the restriction of fundamental rights during martial law. 34 is mayor, okay, the mayor of a city. So mayor of a city curtailed fundamental rights during military rule. During military rule. So here we finish with the important articles, and for fundamental rights and directive principles we have to go for each article, and but thereafter with the after fundamental rights and directive principles state policy, we will focus only on the important articles, articles whose number we have to remember, right? We will not go through all the articles and remember the numbers of each article. We will remember only for the important articles which can be asked in UPSC. But the same principle you can apply anywhere. Okay, if you want to become the master of constitution, you can just use this way and you can learn each and everything about the constitution. But that is for UPSC purposes not required. Our purpose is to remember or memorize what all things are important for UPSC and then go for the conceptual part.